All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, first of all, I want to apologize for the 2-week hiatus I just took, okay? I unfortunately got nasty second and third degree burns covering the insides of my legs, on my stomach, and as well as the boys down under, okay? Due to an incompetent drive-through worker, so it was almost unbearable to sit in a chair at all, let alone long enough to put together a video for you guys. So it does look like I've got some catching up to do. Some of these topics might be a little bit old, but I didn't want to just let them go. What I want to talk about in this video is the turtle himself, Anthony Smith. Okay, and his response to the backlash he received regarding his initial take on the Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane situation. It was maybe the most Anthony Smith response of all time. And again, I know it's a topic that's a couple weeks old now, but the podcast that he did addressing it was just a few days ago, and there is no way I can just let this slide. Okay, so let's get into the clips.
We've got you here now, and you and Chael Sonnen seem to dominate the headlines coming out of UFC 321. We all know what happened. We're 5-6 days removed now, the Tom Aspinall eye poke, and the two of you seem to spark a lot of controversy on the desk. People aren't happy. I kind of want to just give you the floor to explain your thoughts, not walk anything back because that's not the Anthony Smith way. Just kind of explain where you guys were coming from on the desk.
Yeah, I'm not walking anything back because I took a few days before we did this video. Really, I mean, if I'm being totally honest, I've been hanging out. I took my kids to the Chiefs game. It's Halloween. It's Halloween's tomorrow, so we're getting ready for that. And I know that everyone would love to hear that I'm sitting around reading the comments, seeing what you guys are saying. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not. So I have had a lot of people reach out and say, hey man, are you seeing this? And to be fair, not really. I learned a long time ago to if you don't want your feelings hurt, stay out of the comments. Joe Rogan has always famously said post and ghost. So that's,
I learned from the show.
Yeah, post and ghost. It's not important.
Okay, so right off the bat, I gotta point out the whole, I'm not gonna walk anything back because that's just not the Anthony Smith way, or whatever the fuck they just said, okay? I would submit to the court that the chimera Anthony Smith indeed walks back almost every hot take he's ever had, all while pretending or saying that he's not doing exactly that. Okay, he's gaslighting everyone, and this is a theme when Anthony Smith addresses any form of controversy that he finds himself in. He'll tell you what he is saying while saying something completely different. Also, I just love the I know you guys probably think I'm reading the comments, but I'm not, and none of this matters anyways. That's why I'm gonna spend half a fucking hour of my own podcast episode addressing the comments. But again, it doesn't even matter. I am so sick of hearing the, you know what Joe Rogan says, dude, just post and ghost. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan absolutely reads the comments, and so does everyone else. Okay, this is just a tactic to make people who have criticism feel like it doesn't matter, which is fine, but it's just so annoying at this point. Everyone who ever says that they don't read the comments definitely reads the fucking comments, okay? But either way, let's move on.
But I did have, I had Dean reach out and a couple other of my coworkers, and actually some fighters have reached out. Some of them on both sides of whatever this controversy is. So I took a quick peek, and I'm a bit shocked. Not at people being upset, because Tom is a polarizing figure, and I expect that if I say anything that isn't 100% pro Tom Aspinall, people are going to be upset about that. And that's the beauty of this sport. That's why I don't worry about it. We need you guys to be upset if someone says something like that. We need you to be happy if an analyst that you really respect and appreciate says something good about your guy. That's how this works. If we don't create some sort of emotion, then we're not really doing our job. So unfortunately, you guys are kind of in a matrix and you don't even know it. If Chael and I just stood up there and said everything that you wanted us to say, and we didn't give our honest opinions, then there is no reason for us to be there. Our job is to give our opinion. Now, the issue that I have is I think my opinion is being skewed. Like, I would love for someone to go back and find a clip where I said I thought Tom was faking it.
All right, so again, this is in true Chimera Smith fashion. Guys, my opinion is just being skewed. You guys are actually in the Matrix, and also my opinion is being skewed. We got this exact same response during the whole Anthony Smith-Alex Pajeda beef, as well as the Michael Bisping drama when Anthony just straight up ghosted the podcast with no warnings or texts or anything. Even during the beef with Rampage and TJ Dillashaw, this is just the Anthony Smith way, and this is what I mean by gaslighting. Okay, I don't like to use that word often, but that is exactly what the Chimera does, even if he's not aware of it. He tells you he said something completely different than what you know he actually said, and acts like the interpretation is the problem. It's everybody else that's listening to me, not me. Do you know what I mean? Then goes on to give a position that people weren't even criticizing him for. As an example, I did not see or hear anyone, now I'm sure there were some people, okay, but regardless, that claimed Anthony Smith said Tom Aspinall was faking it. The majority of the criticism is that Anthony Smith and Chael Sonnen both implied that regardless of being fouled, he should have continued for our entertainment, and kind of implied that he was a pussy. Okay, so maybe Anthony Smith really doesn't read the comments and just thinks that's what people are upset about, or it is intentional and he finds the most ridiculous examples to attack so he can act like he truly was just misinterpreted. But either way, let's keep going.
Because I never said that. I never insinuated that. I never said Tom should have kept fighting regardless of how injured he was. I didn't say that. I would have never said that. The one part that maybe I probably fired up a lot of people was when Brendan Fitzgerald asked me what the narrative was going to be and what I was going to see on Monday. And I said what I thought that the narrative was going to be. And unfortunately, guys, I was right. If you look anywhere other than my comments and my mentions, it's a lot of people saying that. And it's not what I believe. But I know how this game works. And I get so confused. And it's why I stay out of the comments. I get so confused where I'll say, like in situations where I'll say something and no one will actually debate what I'm saying. No one will actually debate it. They'll just attack my character and my career. And those two things have nothing to do with each other. I don't know why in any world anybody that is, sitting wherever they are on their phone can like say I don't have a position or I'm not in a position to speak on this. So if I don't have a position to speak on this, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Okay, now it is actually frustrating listening to Chimera Smith try and address things because he is just all over the place. So up until this point we have gotten already, guys, you're in the Matrix, and also my opinion is just being skewed. The example of that was an opinion that no one claimed he gave. Now it's, well, actually guys, it was just because I was saying what other people's opinions were gonna be, not my own. And also, I don't read the comments, but I am fully aware of what is in my own comment section versus other people's comment section. Then goes on to bring up how people just attack his character or his career. Okay, because it's an easy way to paint all the criticism as just dickheads who have never fought and haven't done the kind of shit he has, and they're all just toxic MMA fans. Now listen, I think you can make an argument without attacking Anthony Smith's career, which I've seen plenty of people do. So him saying no one wants to debate the topic is just a flat out lie. Okay, not that it would matter, of course, because he doesn't read the comments to debate those arguments, but also sees all the comments attacking his own career. But again, I think you can make the argument without it. However, Okay, that being said, oh, they just attack my character and my career. Yeah, that's called impeaching a witness, my guy. Okay, the objective is to point out that due to these other factors, your opinion is invalid and shouldn't be taken seriously. Now, whether or not you agree with the criticisms of Anthony Smith or think they're relevant or whatever, that's the idea behind it, okay? Well, you shouldn't be talking about guys quitting or not wanting to fight just because they do it in a different way than you do. The Chimera typically will go into his turtle form and just stay there getting beat up, as if that isn't a form of quitting, but then will go on to criticize a fighter for being honest to a referee or a doctor about the state of their health. So I guess that way of quitting is less honorable or something, but that's what people are trying to point out. It's not just for the sake of attacking his career, okay? But either way, let's keep going.
My entire adult life, I have been in over 50 professional fights. I have almost as many amateur fights, trained all over the world with the best in the world, and I am 100% respected by my peers because of my journey and how I did it. And again, I'm not going to debate my career with you. Did I win them all? No, I didn't. I didn't win the title, but neither did you. And like the people saying I don't have a position to speak on this, if I don't know how you do. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're sitting on your couch telling me that I don't have any room to speak on this situation, then you should also shut the fuck up. And that's how I look at it. And that's absolutely why I don't take anything that those people say seriously. If your opinion mattered, we would be working together, but we don't. So it doesn't matter at all.
All right, now I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The no you argument is maybe the best argument we could ever receive from the Chimera, and I don't quite know how to attack it, okay? I would just like to point out that he is now doing what he criticized fans for doing in the previous clip. But also, guys, your opinion doesn't matter, and you're a nobody because if it did, we would be working together. Well, I would present that the opinions of the fans and content creators do matter because, number one, again, you spent over half an hour addressing them, and number two, out in the free market on YouTube, not when you are forced on us by the UFC or ESPN, no one fucking cares to listen to your opinion, okay? You did the UFC a favor by not taking the title versus John Jones. You made it your whole personality, and now we are forced to listen to you on the analyst desk. We're also forced to pretend that Anthony Smith is a good speaker, and that's why he is on the analyst desk when he either clearly can't communicate at all or is a gaslighting fuck, okay, that says constantly to keep himself speaking in a certain cadence so he can sound smart. But let's keep going.
But I have absolute respect for Tom Aspinall. I'm not going to apologize for being upset that the fight ended the way that it ended. What about the millions of people that paid 80 whatever dollars because this is the fight that they wanted to see? Like, I represent those opinions because that's how I feel. How much money do you think people spent to go to the event live? How many people flew over from the UK? You know how much an Emirates flight is from the UK to Abu Dhabi? It ain't fucking cheap. And those people are allowed to be upset, and I represent those class of people. So I was upset. I got to watch it for free from ESPN, cost me $0, and in fact, got paid a shit ton of money to do it. And I was upset about it. I can't imagine how other people felt. So I'm not going to walk that back. I was upset about it. I wasn't blaming anybody. I was just upset about it. And
holy fuck, okay, guys, I'm just doing this for you. I was upset for you. I'm a man of the people I just spent 10 minutes shitting on. Okay, this was absolutely fucking hilarious to me. I couldn't believe it. This is right here, right now, a new mythical fighter being unlocked. The chimera politician. Anthony Smith, I would put him up against any fighter around today, if I'm being honest. But seriously, no one, and I mean fucking no one, was attacking you for being upset that people spent money to have the main event end in a less than ideal way. Also, holy shit, I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. I represent that class of people, he says. The people who spent $80 on a pay-per-view, or the people that bought plane tickets and whatever else. But also, guys, I got paid a shit ton of money to watch that fight. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? This is insane. You know what, though? This might actually be a tactic that I would refer to as a gish gallop. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Chimera Smith is putting forward so many fucking arguments that it is hard to keep track, and that way, if you attack one of them, he can just jump to the next and will pretend he never even said the previous argument. I think Anthony Smith might actually be 140 IQ. It's either that or below room temperature. I can't quite tell, but either way, let's keep going.
I do think that there was one situation in our conversation where I think our conversation got a little muddled, where I believe we were talking in generalities. I think we were talking very specifically, Tom. I think we got into like a very general conversation and then brought it back to Tom. But again, I'm not walking that back because we're literally on there minutes after it happened with not a lot of time to like, we don't know what we're going to talk about. We have no idea where this conversation is going to go. So sometimes I'm just sitting there talking to my buddy, and that is what it is. But the only thing that, as long as we're all very clear, I never said I thought Tom was faking it, and I never said that he should have continued no matter how hurt he was. Like I just never said those things. And since then I've been asked my opinion, like would I have kept fighting or would other fighters have kept fighting? I have an answer to that question, but it doesn't matter. That answer doesn't matter. I think we all know what my decision likely would have been, but I'm not Tom Aspinall. And
all right, now I am genuinely losing track. Initially, it was, you guys are in the Matrix, and my opinion is being skewed. I don't read the comments, but I am fully aware of all the comments. I was just saying what other people's opinions were going to be, not necessarily my own. Actually, it is my opinion, but no one wants to actually debate my opinion. They just attack my character. Then it's, the no you argument. Still, in my opinion, the strongest of them all. Next is your opinion doesn't matter. After that, people whose opinions don't matter. I was actually upset for you guys because I represent the poors, but I also got paid a shit ton of money to work that show. Now, it's actually, we weren't even talking about Tom Aspinall. It was a general conversation, or rather, he believes that it was a general conversation. And again, with the, I'm not walking it back now, I will concede that Anthony Chimera Smith probably did not walk it back. I would imagine, however, he got down on all fours and he crawled it back, okay? The true Anthony Smith way, because up until this point, he has given like 10 different takes on the situation, none of which were takes that he actually gave after the fight. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here? Okay.
I actually said this exact thing. I'm not Tom Aspinall. I'm not the heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm not standing across from Ciryl Gane and then thinking about doing it one-eyed. The one part that I brought myself into it, I didn't clarify this when I said it, and I didn't mean it like this when I did fight with one eye and unable to see. It was from a legal blow. But the whole point was in that general conversation when we were talking about like sometimes people end up having to fight with one eye. That was like Chael and I kind of moved in and out of like some conversations. And I don't know that we were like specifically talking about Tom in that moment. I think it was a very general conversation. And then we went back to Tom. But I don't know if you guys ever had a conversation with Chael. You kind of just all over the place. And you just follow along, and then we just roll with it. And whatever. Sometimes it gets me and Chael in trouble. And again, I'm not walking that back.
Oh, I get it now. It's just silly old Uncle Chael, I don't know if you've ever spoken to him, but sometimes he's just all over the place. But I believe that it was a general conversation. Not 100% sure, but I think so. Now, I do find it absolutely fucking hilarious Anthony Smith addressing the legal blow that caused his eye to get fucked up in Singapore. One, I think it is evidence of him absolutely reading the comments, but also I think it shows that he knows he was being disingenuous at the time by even trying to compare the two situations. Like, yeah, if you told the doctor that you couldn't see, you would have lost by TKO. So in that situation, you can only go up from there by continuing. If Tom continues, he could go on to get KO'd or TKO'd while not being able to see properly. On top of that, he gets to keep his belt and live to fight another day because it was a fucking foul. Okay, but let's keep going.
The whole situation kind of got blown out of proportion because Tom, and this isn't coming from you guys, I'm not saying this is you and Chael by any means. It just feels like Tom was being almost vilified post-fight for something that wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault his eye was gouged out. It wasn't his fault that this was called a no contest and not a DQ win. None of this was Tom's fault. And I think just because you guys weren't rah-rah, Tom Aspinall, he 100% made the right decision, because there kind of was a little bit of murkiness to it, and you guys can call it both ways. That's why you're up there. I think that's why people got on you two so much, because you were the first two people we heard from post-fight.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are two very big names in the sport, of course. And I think because it wasn't 100% go team Tom Aspinall, people turned it into something that it wasn't.
My job's not to be 100% team Tom Aspinall.
Absolutely.
And I know that this is the part that pisses people off. My job is just to speak my opinion.
Oh my god, dude, the chick with the lisp was so close. What the fuck? The lack of self-awareness is just crazy to me. She says this isn't coming from you guys, but Tom Aspinall kind of got vilified for something that wasn't even his fault. Like, yeah, no shit, but it was absolutely coming from those guys. They spent the majority of the post-fight show talking about how sometimes you gotta just fight with one eye, and Tom didn't want to keep fighting, and whatever fucking else, okay? They were literally saying, I don't know if I should be mad at Tom or Ciryl. Motherfucker. One guy committed a foul, the other guy got fouled. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? It's so goddamn easy, and nobody was upset because you are not 100% Team Aspinall. Again, it's funny that they would claim Chimera's opinion is being skewed while skewing everybody else's opinion. It wasn't that you weren't 100% on Team Aspinall or whatever. It's that you guys were like 0% on his side, and he was the one who got fucking fouled. Also, no, it doesn't piss people off that your job is to speak your opinion, my guy. That's why people don't talk about you all the time, or at the very least every time you give an opinion. The shit that pisses people off is this kind of shit. And then the responses that you give, gaslighting everyone and not even addressing the actual criticism. But let's keep it going.
Unfortunately for the people that don't like it, it's really a very opinion based on the pay-per-views. And if you don't like it, that's actually how it's supposed to be. That's actually how it's supposed to be. Like, if Stephen A told me one time that when he was with Max Kellerman, they had a format meeting every single day before every show, and then they would separate them, and these producers would ask them the same questions. And if Stephen A and Max Kellerman agreed on something, they didn't talk about it, because nobody wants to just see two people sit up there and agree and say things that they want to hear. Like, that's just not how TV works. So then the things that they disagreed on, boom, those are the topics for the show.
Now, I will say, I find the casual name dropping absolutely fucking hilarious. A nice way to say, yeah, well, I talk to famous people, and none of you matter. Anyways, that's why I'm going to spend half an hour addressing it, okay? But either way, what he said, Stephen A. Smith said to him, is not even fucking comparable or relevant or analogous at all in this situation. You and Chael were not debating or disagreeing. You and Chael did exactly what you just said is not how TV works, and agreed with each other for 10 minutes or whatever, okay? But let's keep going.
Because then you get 50% of the people on one side, 50% on the other. That's why pay-per-views are opinion-based generally. Because chances are there's going to be the same amount of people that agree as disagree. So when there's a shit ton of comments where people are like, yeah, I kind of agree with what he said, And then 50% are like, oh, he's full of shit. I fucking hate that guy. Like, that's the idea. That's the, like I said, you guys are in a matrix. And you don't even realize it. Like, that's the whole point of the job. So I know that you're just hoping and you're typing your fucking ass off. Like, if he reads this, he's going to be so hurt. No, he's not. No, he's not. If he reads it, he's going to say, it looks like I did my job.
And again, I think people like Chimera Smith here, people like Brendan Shaw, people like Joe Rogan do this intentionally, okay? They paint out the people in the comments as solely volatile, hate motivated, and are only commenting with the intention to hurt your feelings or some shit, as if you guys could never do anything wrong, and all the disagreement is just hate. It's fucking insane to me. Okay, I'm sure there are some people out there who do type comments for that reason, but also a shit ton of people commenting are doing so to voice their opinion and say why they think yours is fucking stupid, in hopes that maybe you would address it on a podcast like this one, okay? Only problem is, guys like Chimera Smith only address the quote-unquote hater comments, and then we'll say some shit like, well, no one wants to actually debate what I'm saying anyways, on paper.
And really, lastly, on this, I think, fuck, I'm gonna probably just fire this right back up too.
Great.
I think sometimes what happens in sports is our hate for one can unfairly elevate or move the position of another. So I talked a lot about in the week leading into the fight, and on the pre-shows on Friday, that everyone kept saying, well, Jon Jones did this to Ciryl Gane, and this is what Ciryl Gane did with Jon Jones. And I just kept trying to remind people, like, as great as Tom Aspinall is, he is not Jon Jones. And then we get in this Jones-Stipe thing, and then Jones is not going to fight Tom, and then he's going to fight Tom, and then he decides to retire. And I think that our hate, not me, but like as a community, the hate and anger that was being directed at Jon elevated Tom to an unfair position in his own right.
All right, now I included this clip because I do actually kind of agree with it. However, I find it absolutely fucking hilarious that Anthony Smith has to be sure to exclude himself from the people who don't like Jon Jones, as if there isn't 100 legitimate reasons to not like the guy, first of all, but also coming from a guy in Anthony Smith who has talked so much shit about Jon Jones, had Jon Jones talk shit about him and the way he fought off an actual home invasion. Anthony Smith also exposed how the UFC called him daily all fight week to let him know that Jon was still pissing hot for PEDs. But no, guys, I don't hate him. That's just the toxic fan base, those big, mean, hateful bullies with their Twitter fingers, you know. But anyways, let's keep going.
And I don't mean that he didn't deserve to be where he's at in the sport, but I think it gave us unrealistic expectations of what Tom Aspinall is and what he's capable of, or where he is currently in his career, right? Or is currently in his skill set. So then there's this shock and awe when he's not running through Ciryl Gane. And then I highlight it, and that pisses people off. And that's not saying anything negative about Tom. He's a goddamn heavyweight champion of the world. He's incredible. But he's not invincible. And there was this weird invincibility conversation going into the week, and I pushed back on that a little bit because it's unfair to him. I said it on the show. If Tom Aspinall has a close fight with Ciryl Gane and he struggles with him, but even still gets a win, it's as good as a loss because of where everyone else has put him, because of what Jon Jones did to Ciryl Gane. So we've put like Tom in an impossible, unfair position because of the community's hate for Jon.
Again, I kind of agree with what he's saying, but even with that agreement, he is still being disingenuous and attacking arguments that no one made, and he's able to make himself sound reasonable while pretending that everyone else is being just completely unreasonable. I didn't hear anyone get mad or upset or push back or whatever the fuck because you said Ciryl Gane was doing well in that fight, I feel like almost anybody that watched that fight objectively would say the same thing. Okay, not that Ciryl was dominating or anything like that, but that he was having success in areas that people maybe thought he wouldn't. Defended a takedown that people maybe thought he wouldn't be able to defend, and things like that. No one was upset at you pointing that out, though. People were irritated for a take that, by the way, you still haven't addressed and likely won't. And that was that you and Chael were making it seem like Tom just didn't want to continue because his eye hurt or some shit, acting as though it wasn't because of a fucking foul, by the way, from a guy who commits fouls constantly. But we'll get to that in just a little bit.
I absolutely love Tom Aspinall. And I hope he actually really paid attention and doesn't read the headlines and like actually went back and watched the post show and seen what I said. I don't think he would be that upset about it.
Yeah.
And like if he actually seen it come out of my mouth, I don't think he would be that upset about it. And probably he would be more upset about the analysis of how the actual fight went. I think that part would probably piss him off.
Well, I think most fighters get I don't know if mad's the right word, but
defensive.
It's not. Yeah, defensive when they hear analysis or critique of their performance.
If I like he would, and you know what, I'll accept that. Like if he's,
you were in that boat,
right? If he's upset about the criticism in the actual performance itself, listen, bro, I'll accept that. I'll eat that. Like if you're upset about it, like I understand why you would be. I truly do. The rest of it, there's no way he could be upset about that, and that's fine. And if I was really too worried about it, I have his number. I could reach out to him, and he has mine. So, and he hasn't said anything. So,
all right, now this is actually master gaslighting from Anthony Smith. If he actually heard what I said, there's no way he could be mad on paper, as if to say he was like taken out of context or something, or as if everyone around the world didn't see the fucking clips. We're not in the 1970s. Okay, it's not like some journalist just wrote something about something you said and didn't quote you or quoted you incorrectly or whatever the fuck. The clips are all over the internet. Okay, everyone can see what you said, and he's just pretending like he didn't say it. It is actually fucking masterful. But also, I don't think Tom would be upset because Tom seems like a relatively chill guy. Although I would be upset watching these guys act as though and talk as though it was my fault for getting fouled. Do you know what I mean? Although if Tom is upset, according to Anthony, it can only be because of the fight analysis, not him saying that fighters should just fight with one eye, because it happens all the time, guys. I've done it many of times. And then again with another casual name drop, but either way, let's keep going.
Yeah, that's just kind of my take on it. Like, it was a shitty situation. I feel for Tom, but I'm allowed to feel for Ciryl Gane too. I thought he looked great. He was very, very prepared. Like, you could tell he was super focused and dialed in and knew exactly what he was going to do. You could tell right away what his game plan was. That's a lot of work for both of them that went for nothing. And that, so I feel for them both. And I'm allowed to feel for Ciryl Gane because it wasn't intentional. I don't think anybody in the world is saying that was on purpose.
All right, now this shit is absolutely mind-blowing to me, okay? The intentional, unintentional conversation. The other day, Chimera Smith had John McCarthy on to talk about what happened with Tom Aspinall, among other things that happened at UFC Vancouver and things like that, and just weird reffing situations overall. The topic of intentional and unintentional did get brought up, and John explained to Anthony why he thought it was fucking stupid, okay? You're asking refs to be mind readers. No one could ever actually determine that, which makes it completely subjective and arbitrary. John explained the concept of reckless to Anthony Smith, which I wholeheartedly agree with. If you were fighting in a way that is likely to result in a foul, but you just don't give a shit and continue to do it anyways, like, you know, sticking your fingers in your opponent's face when they're entering on a takedown or something like that, then whether you intended to get their eyes or not doesn't and shouldn't fucking matter. right? You are acting recklessly, probably because you don't care if you commit a foul, because you know refs rarely, if ever, take points for them. Ciryl Gane acts recklessly in almost every single one of his fights. We see back of the head shots, we see cup shots, we see eye pokes. I mean, the guy is a Ciryl offender. So sure, Anthony, you can pretend like, well, I just feel bad for the guy because he was doing so well and, you know, he didn't mean to do it, when you just had Big John explain how stupid that whole concept is. I mean, it's just absolutely fucking crazy. Okay, but let's keep going.
For Tom, he unfortunately finds himself in a lose-lose situation because he either does what he does and you get a multitude of fighters saying, I've been poked in the eye before and I've continued to fight, or I would have fought, or you get the fans that are disappointed. And I get it. I paid $80 for that pay-per-view. That sucks to see the main event end that way. Or Tom Aspinall continues to fight. Let's say he really can't see out of one eye, and now you're trying to dodge shots from Ciryl Gane. Like any other fighter at heavyweight can take you out with one punch. It's not a good situation either way. And only Tom will ever know how hurt he actually was. And if he says
that's why I've never spoken on
eye, then we've got to go with it.
Right. That's why I would never speak on that. Like,
absolutely.
I would never say yes he was hurt or no he wasn't. I think of the Aljo thing. How many times have people come at me about the Aljo thing? What do you think? What do you think? I don't know. Only he knows. Is that the decision I would have made? Clearly fucking not, because it didn't. But that doesn't mean that I'm not saying my decision is right. If I was Tom Aspinall, would I have kept fighting? Yeah, probably.
Holy shit. Did you guys see that nod along from Anthony Smith and the fake sadness on his face to show that he actually feels for Tom Aspinall, as if he wasn't doing exactly what the fuck she was saying other fighters are doing? I mean, good grief. And then again, we got to get the tough points in, of course. Guys, clearly I wouldn't make that decision because I fucking didn't. I'll fight no matter what. I'm not taking a DQ win for a title. No way, dude. I'm not a quitter. I just curl up in a ball and hand the referee my teeth on paper, of course, tell my corner my teeth are falling out in hopes that they just stop the fight on my behalf.
People ask, would you have kept fighting? Probably. Like even my own peers, like Matt Brown, love Matt Brown. Can't say enough great things about Matt Brown. I can't think of, even if I had something negative to say, I wouldn't say it out loud. I love that guy. But even he was like, I don't know what Anthony and Ciryl are talking about, blah, 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 blah. And then I text him myself and go, wait a second, bro. Are you telling me you wouldn't have kept going? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're hinting? Was, well, yeah, I would have. Then okay, what are we doing here? And I'm not even saying Tom should have. Don't crucify me for something that I didn't say that you would do.
Yes.
That's crazy to me. Like, that's insane to me because I didn't say that, but you would.
All right, so Anthony Smith completely missing the point Matt Brown was making, obviously. Whether or not Matt Brown would continue, or Chimera Smith would continue, or fucking whoever, okay? The point is that you shouldn't be expected to when you got fouled in a way that is going to compromise your ability to defend your belt, for crying out loud.
If you are a Tom Aspinall fan, there is no way you can tell me that fight was going exactly the way that Tom Aspinall wanted it to go. There's no way. You can fucking like me or not. You can attack my fucking career and my accolades and my character, but you could not look me straight in my face and tell me that you think that's how Tom wanted it to go, that everything was going his way, that he was walking it down exactly the path that they had projected. So who has a better advantage going into the second one? The guy that now knows what didn't work and then can change it, or the guy that had everything work and now doesn't know what's going to be different? I think it benefits Tom Aspinall. So to keep it all fair, I hope it's quick so we can get the same version of them.
All right, now I included this clip because I could not believe the phrase there towards the end. In order to keep this all fair, I hope it gets booked soon so we get the same version of them. So now apparently Anthony Turtle Chimera Smith is all about fairness, guys. Okay? Now, when another fighter gouges someone's eyes, they should just keep fighting because that's what fighters do. But when that guy who did the fucking fouling might have some adjustments made on him that he's not going to be able to account for. Well, that's just plain unfair. I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here? Again, this is the most Anthony Smith response to a controversy I have ever heard. Sounds almost exactly like all the other ones I listed earlier. The Alex Pajeda beef, he would talk a bunch of shit, then later on would say, I don't know why he's so mad, I just said he wasn't that big. I was extremely complimentary of Alex Pajeda, even getting called out by his co-host in Michael Bisping at the time, or of course the Rampage Jackson situation, or when he ghosted Michael Bisping and the Believe You Me podcast because he was sick of getting called out on his excuses when he would lose. Every Anthony Smith drama, he never addresses what he actually said or what actually happens. I mean, some of the lines in this one are identical to the Bisping situation, just of course with different names injected in there. It drives me crazy, okay? And I couldn't let it slide. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below, of course. Okay, let me know if there's any videos you want to see me do after this hiatus. Whatever the fuck. I appreciate you. Okay, like, subscribe, all that good shit. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.